Hello everyone. As you can see, I already put to good use this cup that I'm gonna bling out for you guys. I told you guys to choose between the original Starbucks cup with the siren logo in the middle or this cool cup, and you guys chose this one, the original one that comes with a dome. If you saw that video where I showed you guys how to bling out this dome, look how cute it came out. Super cute, guys. I'm so excited these cups came out, and now I'm going to show you exactly how to bling out your cup also, because we do have to have the set, you know what I mean? How are you just going to have the dome without the cup, you know? And you saw how cute it came out, so if you want to learn exactly how to do it, keep watching. So guys, just to start off, this did take me around 5 hours to complete. Do not freak out, guys. We're going to get it done. Trust me, the results are worth it. I'm going to start off by showing you the materials I use. Starting off with, of course, my cup. Next, I have my glue, Liquid Fusion. That's what I'm going to be using to apply the rhinestones. I also have my file to prep my cup. It is a 100 by 180 grit. And I'm also going to be using a buffer for the letters because I do not want to scratch them up badly. I'll explain it more when I am prepping the cup, but I'm talking about these letters, so you guys will see why, okay? And I also have my alcohol wipes right here for also the prepping, my napkins to keep my area clean. I have my toothpicks to apply my glue, and I have my pickup tool. And I also have my tray that I'm going to be using to keep my rhinestones organized. I am going to be using AB rhinestones for the majority of the cup, starting off with the SS20. I'll be talking about sizes more as I am working on the cup. And I am also going to be using this fuchsia color rhinestones for the lettering, starting off with the size SS12 as my main size. I will also be talking about the sizing for these as I am working on the lettering. So these are going to be my main sizes, like I said. I will be talking about them more as I am working on the cup. And of course, all the material info will be in the description down below. Now it's time to prep my cup. I put my napkin on my table to keep my area clean, and I have my cup here ready to go. I have my nail file. I'm going to go ahead and file down the whole cup where it's clear. I'm going to do the lettering with the buffer I showed you guys earlier. As you can see right here, the cup is starting to look a bit matte. That is what you want. You want to take off that whole entire top coat that the cup has. That's what's going to make sure that your rhinestones stick better with the glue to the cup. As you can see, I'm going all the way around. I did accidentally file on the letters a little bit. Try your best not to do that. Be careful, take your time, and file the whole cup. I am also skipping out on the little siren logo. I'm going around it. I am filing around the bottom area also because I am going to bling out the whole cup. I'm going to dust off my file, and now I'm going to go in with the buffer. As you guys can see right there, the lettering, I did scratch it a little bit with my file. Try your best not to do that, like I said. This is what I'm going to use my buffer for. I'm going to go in over the lettering only and take off that super thin layer of protection that it has. Okay, this buffer is going to give me those scratches, but without damaging the paint. As you guys can see that, how it looks a little bit matte now. That's what I want. That's what the buffer is going to help me with. It's not going to give me those deep scratches like the regular file does. You guys saw how it looks with those scratches, right? And this is how it looks with the buffer. You guys see that? It's going to take that super thin layer off without damaging the letters. I'm going to do the same thing for the little Starbucks logo. Again, I did scratch it with the file, but we'll work with that later on. Once I'm done filing down the whole entire cup, I'm going to go in with my alcohol wipes, removing all that dust that I filed off all around the cup. You want to make sure your cup is clean. Use a few of them if you have to. Right there, you can see all that dust coming off. Make sure it's super clean and let it completely dry. This is how my cup looks now. You can see a clear difference, right? It looks matte. It looks crazy right now, but trust me, it's gonna look cute in a bit. I'm gonna clean up my area, and now I can start bedazzling my cup. I'm going to start off with the letters first. Right here, the cool area. Sizing is gonna be size 6, 8, 10, and 12. in the fuchsia color. If you can see, the lettering does have a very thin light blue color. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to leave it alone and bling over it. I'm going right in with my glue, placing some right in the middle and using my toothpick to spread it more evenly around the whole letter, being very careful, making sure it stays within the lines of the letter. And I am doing the whole letter at one time. This is going to be my section because it does give me quite a bit of time to work with, and I love that about Liquid Fusion. But as you can see, I spread my glue. I'm going in with the rhinestones. If you feel like you have a little bit too much glue in there, you can always go in with the toothpick and remove it very carefully and keep applying the rhinestones. I'm going in with my biggest size, which is going to be the 12, doing the outlines first, as you guys can see. And then once I'm done doing the outlines, it's going to be for every letter. I'm going to go in with the fill-in sizes, which I already told you guys the sizing. And I do like to go with the biggest fill-in size, moving on to the smaller sizes when I am filling in gaps. This is my first letter, guys. Look how cute it looks, right? I love how the drip looks. Like I said, I'm not going to be doing the blue outlines. It's just too small, and I don't really care for it. I just care about the main color, which is this super cute fuchsia. So that's what I'm going to bling out. When I bling it out with the AB rhinestones, you're not even going to be able to see it anyways. So I'm just going in, blinging out every single letter right here, which is just 4. It's super quick. Remember, I'm doing the outlines first and then going in the gaps. Even on this letter, the letter L, I did have to spread out the 12s because there was a bit of a gap right in the middle. I filled it in and I kept blinging. Try to stay in the lines. Make sure you're not overlapping the lettering so it stays nice and neat. And this is how my letters came out, guys. Look how beautiful it looks already, right? Super cute. I still don't know what I'm going to do with the little mermaid, but we shall see. Now I'm going to bling out the entire cup, starting off from the top, moving my way down to the bottom. I'm going to do a nice thin line of Liquid Fusion right across the top, and I'm going to start blinging with the SS20. This is going to be my main size that I'm going to be using for the whole entire cup. Working by sections, and I did decide to flip the cup over so the rhinestones would kind of stay in place, not drag down. This is my first line, so it's gonna work as my guide. I am going to go all the way around, like I said, working by sections, applying my size SS20. This is my first section, as you guys can see, and this is how it's gonna look with the lid on. Look at that. It's not gonna be in the way. It's gonna go right in with no issues. One thing though, guys, is since this cup is a little bit curved on the top, it's a little bit hard to kind of, define where you should put your rhinestones without them, messing up and losing that straight line. So one thing you guys can do with this would be to either start off at the bottom of the cup where it is flat and straight, and it's easier for you guys to see, where your line is. Or right here, as you can see, like I'm telling you guys, it's curved, right? So if I push the rhinestone all the way up, it's gonna be kind of lifted. You know what I mean? It's not gonna be flat on the cup. So when you place a rhinestone, it kind of stops. Once you guys do it, you'll see what I'm talking about. But when you place the rhinestone, it kind of stops right before that curve. And that helps a lot, when starting off that line, because it stops it for you and it creates kind of that straight line guide. Does that make sense? I hope it's making sense. But just, try to keep it as straight as you can. If not, just start off at the bottom where it does have that defined straight line. Right here where I was closing my end, I did have a little gap where a 20 could not fit anymore. So what I did there, I just spread out the rhinestones. I double checked all the way around, making sure there was no gaps or rhinestones over each other. And then I just spread them out, making it blend in with each other. And this was my first line, guys. Look at this. I'm going to do my second line, guys. I am actually not going to be using any fill-in sizes, guys. I'm going to do this whole entire cup. It is getting thinner as I'm working my way down the cup. so I'm not going to be able to have a specific pattern. If you saw the video where I blinged out the dome, it was the same situation. Since the dome is getting smaller, I couldn't have a specific like honeycomb pattern. So I just went all in with the size 20, and that's what I'm going to be doing here. I'm going to go all in with the size 20. I'm going to begin at the front, working my way on both sides, meeting on the back. And if I do have fill-in space or little gaps, I am going to blend my lines so I do not have to fill it in with any other sizes. Of course, always double checking my work, making sure all the rhinestones fit perfectly all the way around. There's no errors. And then I blend in the back. Right here on my second row, once again, I did have a small gap where the 20 did not fit. And I didn't go in filling it in with the 16. I just removed that 20 that did not fit, checked my whole entire row, and then I spread out those rhinestones in the back. That's why I'm starting off at the front of the cup, working on both sides and meeting at the back. So if I do have to blend it, it's in the back where nobody's going to be seeing it. That's what I did for the whole entire cup. As I was working, I also did like to turn the cup to the side so I can double check that my lines are nice and straight. It's just easier to see, so that's another little tip you guys can do to double check your lines are straight. Again, here, I'm starting off at the front and meeting on the back. You guys see that? How it does not fit? I removed it, left it for the next row, and spread out the rhinestones, and it's not noticeable at all, guys. It's gonna blend in beautifully, and I just love that look of not having any filling gaps, guys. It's just a straight 20 all the way around. Look at this. It's beautiful, right? You can't even tell, you know, that I spread out some rhinestones or nothing. I did the same exact thing all the way to where I met with the letters. Like always though, remember, double check your work, check your lines, and work by sections. Now that I have reached the letters, it's time to fill in those gaps in between them, as I'm also working on the lines around the letters. So I'm going to be doing all of this, working my way down. I'm going to go in with the liquid fusion, placing some small dots of glue on those gaps, and I'm gonna spread it out with my toothpicks very carefully because those areas are really small, and I'm gonna try my best not to get it on the rhinestones. Again, this is gonna be a section. I did place glue on quite a bit of an area because they are small, so I'm gonna have some time to work with it. When I am doing fill-ins, I do like to start off with my biggest size, which is gonna be my 20 that I've been working on, going on with the 16, 12, 10, and 6. Those are the sizes I'm going to be using for the fill-ins. So as you saw, I did already place some 20s where they did fit. I moved on with the 16, kind of eyeballing, already knowing the sizes of the rhinestones. Once you start blinging more, you kind of already know what size you need to fill in those gaps. You get used to it. You can just eyeball it, you know what I mean? But take your time when you are doing this. Make sure you try to fill in as much as the gap as you can with your rhinestones. You see me going in with the 16s right there. Moving on with my 12s. You want to make sure your rhinestones are not overlapping each other and that they fit nice and flat onto your cup. I did just fill in halfway to the bottom because once I start making my way down the cup with my other lines, I'm going to fill in the rest. So this is how it looks so far. I'm going to do my lines around it, continuing what I have been doing, just going in with my 20s, filling in that tiny little gap right in between the C and that 20 because obviously a 20 is not going to fit in there. So I did need a fill-in size in there. And then, like I said, continuing with my 20s all the way around, starting off from the front and meeting at the back. In case I do have those gaps, I can blend them. I'm going to continue doing my lines around my letters till the bottom where the letters end. I did have to fill in that little tiny gap with some fill-in sizes, some 16s right there where the L ends, because the 20 would not fit. You know, do not freak out if you bump into a little gap like that around the letters. Just go ahead and fill it in and continue your lines of the 20 around. Right here you guys can see I did make it to the end where the drips are of the letters. Now I actually have to blend in that line in the front. I did it all the way around, and now I'm gonna connect them both right here in the front, doing a nice thin, as straight as possible line of glue. And then I placed my rhinestones right across with that 20. I did have that tiny drop right there, so the 20 did not fit. I just went right past it with the 20 and went back and filled it in with a smaller size. Guys, my line is looking a little crooked right here, I know, but I did fix it, okay? So try to make it as straight as possible, as much as you can. I know it's a little hard right here because there's nothing to base it off besides both sides, but just try your best, guys. Once I filled it in right here, guys, as you can see, I did apply some liquid fusion, spread it out with my toothpick, and then I did the same thing going in with my fill-in sizes. Be very careful, double check your line, try to keep an eye on it so it stays as straight as possible. And then once again, I went in starting off with my biggest size that I've been using, the 20, filling all that space in first, and then going in with my fill-in sizes. You always want to start off with the bigger size first. The fill-ins are just for the small gaps, you know, that your main size doesn't fit in, okay? So again, keeping my lines as straight as possible, double checking my work, continuing my 20s, and filling in those gaps. So this is how my cup is coming out so far. I'm done with the letters. Now I'm just going to continue all the way down to the Starbucks logo, continuing with my lines of the 20 all the way around, starting off at the front and meeting at the back in case I do have to blend. Look how the cup is looking, guys. It's so beautiful. Now I'm gonna work on the logo, guys. Like I had said, I did scratch it a bit, so I was like, oh my god, what am I gonna do? You know, you can see all the little scratches around the top. So I was like, okay, I think I'm gonna go in with a tiny little size around it. I put the glue on it because I did want it to have a little shiny layer that glue is gonna give it. You know, I spread it nice and even all around it, and a little bit on the sides, you know, so I can start my lines. And then I went in with a size 6 all the way around the logo. Really cute. I kind of kept it in the logo because I did want to cover up those little scratches, so you can't really see some of the tail, but I mean, you get the point, you know. The logo's there, you know. So all the way around with that size 6. I did double check my work, keeping an eye on it, making sure that my rhinestones stayed in place. And then I just continued once again with my lines of that 20 all the way around until the end, right before the bottom of the cup. Once I reached all the way around at the bottom of the logo, I did have to connect those lines once again, and there was a bit of a gap which I added more glue to. I spread it out and I filled in those gaps, and then just continued my lines to seal it at the bottom. The reason for these gaps is because, as you can see, the 20 does end right at that logo. And if I'm continuing my lines as straight as I can, you know, I'm not going to put the 20s right under that logo, you know what I mean? So I do have to push it up to make it even, to continue my lines, and that's why those gaps are there. And all I have to do is just fill it in with those gap sizes. You see that? I can continue my lines around the cup. For my last line, guys, I still had a tiny little gap right at the end of this section, as you can see, to the actual bottom of the cup. So what I did was actually push the rhinestones a little bit to the bottom from where the logo is. As you can see there, I'm pushing them down just a tiny little bit to where you can't tell, just to make that little bottom area a little bit smaller and more blended. So I just did that real quick all around the cup, and it just blended that edge a little bit more. You see that, how it looks right there? And I just filled it in a little bit more with those fill-in sizes. That easy, guys, because I was not going to be able to fit another 20 in there, you know, another row. So I just stretched them out a little bit, and that solved that issue. Now working on the last section right here at the bottom, I once again applied my liquid fusion, spread it nice and even and flat onto my cup, working by sections, and I did 3 rows of a honeycomb pattern all the way around. This is a size 20 if you guys are asking. So again, 3 rows of that 20 all the way around, working by sections, keeping an eye on my rhinestones, making sure they're nice and flat onto the cup and stay in place, because it was a very tight fit actually. So I was checking every once in a while that those rhinestones weren't passing that bottom of the cup. I wanted to make sure they stayed in place, you know, so when I place my cup on the table, it's not, you know, crooked or lifting, nice and flat. And I did come across a gap, and once again all I had to do was just blend. I wanted that nice clean 20 only size look. I didn't want no fill-ins. Right there, you guys see it didn't fit. Like I said, just blend it and it looks like nothing was ever wrong there. It still looks beautiful and it has that clean look. Remember to double check your work, and that easy 5 hours flew by, guys. And it makes it totally worth it, right? It's beautiful, guys. Let it completely dry for around 48 hours before you use it and wash it. And then it's ready to go. Look at that. Blended and beautiful. You can't even tell. So guys, look at this. I am done. Like I said, I did blend it there a little bit to cut down that gap right there. And again, you can't even tell, right? So guys, these are the final results. Look how beautiful this cup came out. As you saw at the beginning of the video, I already used it. I love it. I hope you guys did too. I hope you learned a little something. Go ahead and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it and you want to see many more videos like this one. Subscribe if you haven't. If you already subscribed, thank you guys so much for supporting my channel. And once again, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.